Imagine being accused of a crime so horrific that it shakes an entire city to its core. Now, imagine confessing to that crime, even if you didn't commit it. This is the story of the yogurt shop murders. In December 1991, 4 teenage girls were brutally murdered at an "I can't believe it's yogurt" store in Austin, Texas. The crime scene was a nightmare, with the girls' bodies found in a pool of water from firemen's hoses. Amy Ayers, Sarah Harbison, Eliza Thomas, and Jennifer Harbison were closing up the store when intruders entered, robbed them, and shot them in the head. 3 of the girls were then set on fire. The Austin Police Department vowed to catch the killers, but for 8 years, they stumbled through thousands of tips, false confessions, and dead ends. The pressure was immense, and the city was desperate for answers. In September 1999, Mike Scott, after 18 hours of intense interrogation, signed a detailed confession and named 3 others: Robert Springsteen, Maurice Pierce, and Forrest Welborn. Robert Springsteen also confessed, and their arrests were announced with great fanfare. The city felt a sense of closure, but the truth was far more complicated. The confessions were the result of brutal interrogations. Detective Robert Merrill even held a gun to Mike Scott's head during questioning. The methods used were extreme and controversial. Despite the confessions, there was no physical evidence linking the suspects to the crime. DNA tests later revealed that unknown DNA from the crime scene did not match any of the 4 suspects. The case against the Austin Police Department began to unravel. Allegations of coerced confessions and misconduct surfaced, casting doubt on the integrity of the investigation. Hector Polanco, a detective involved in the case, had a history of coercing confessions. He was transferred from the yogurt shop task force amid these allegations. The city of Austin reacted to the murders with disbelief and unity. Thousands attended the funerals, and the community rallied together, demanding justice for the slain girls. The police were under immense pressure to solve the case. They formed a task force that included multiple agencies, but the investigation was plagued by internal conflicts and mismanagement. In 1991, Maurice Pierce was arrested with a loaded .22 pistol, which he claimed was used in the yogurt shop murders. However, he passed a polygraph test, and the police eventually concluded he was not involved. The police chased numerous leads, including alleged witches and violent bikers, but none of these leads panned out. The investigation was chaotic and often misguided. In 1992, the district attorney launched an investigation into misconduct within the homicide division. The findings revealed improper methods and a lack of training for investigators. The case took another turn when 3 Mexican nationals were arrested in connection with a separate crime. One of them fit the description of a man seen outside the yogurt shop, but they were eventually cleared. By 1993, the task force was scaled back, and John Jones, the primary investigator, was removed from the case. The investigation had become overwhelming, with thousands of tips and suspects. In 1996, Detective Paul Johnson was assigned to reorganize the case. He meticulously reviewed the tips and focused on Maurice Pierce and his friends, leading to the 1999 confessions. The confessions of Scott and Springsteen were detailed but inconsistent. They knew many details about the crime scene, but their stories often contradicted each other. Despite the confessions, the lack of physical evidence and the questionable interrogation methods cast doubt on the validity of the case against the suspects. In 2000, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms released a report stating that the gun found on Pierce was probably not the murder weapon. This was a significant blow to the prosecution. The case continued to fall apart. A grand juror called for hearings into whether the district attorney was rushing the defendants through the process. The investigation was under intense scrutiny. In June 2000, a report revealed that none of the suspects' DNA was found at the crime scene. This further weakened the case against them. Forrest Welborn, one of the suspects, was released on bail after 2 grand juries failed to indict him. He maintained his innocence and refused to testify against the others. The police continued to investigate Welborn, but he remained free. His family felt that the police had ruined his life with their relentless pursuit. The case against the Austin Police Department was strong. The investigation was marked by coercion, misconduct, and a desperate need for arrests. The upcoming trials of Scott and Springsteen would put the police on trial as well. The defense would highlight the numerous mistakes and inconsistencies in the investigation. The confessions, if believed, could still lead to convictions. However, the lack of physical evidence and the questionable methods used to obtain the confessions would be central to the defense's case. The story of the yogurt shop murders is a tragic tale of a police force overwhelmed by a horrific crime and the intense pressure to solve it. The result was a flawed investigation with far-reaching consequences. As the trials approached, the city of Austin remained divided. Some believed the confessions were enough to convict, while others doubted the integrity of the investigation. The yogurt shop murders left a lasting impact on Austin. The case highlighted the challenges of policing in a growing city and the dangers of rushing to judgment. Stay tuned as we continue to uncover the truth behind the yogurt shop murders. This is a story of tragedy, justice, and the quest for answers. Don't miss the next chapter in this gripping saga.